Hello everyone, I'm Abhinav Gupta. I'm founder and CEO of Concretio Apps and basically a Salesforce developer at heart and can architect as well, can play a role of consultant as well, and I'm good with accounts as well thanks to my business journey on past 6 7 years. And what else?
The man with the honorary title for life.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm a Salesforce MVP as well. It's not good to forget, but yeah, it started in 2010 and I renewed this title for 8 years. And now I'm in Hall of Fame, not very active in community lately, but good to be associated with people like Khyati and many other trailblazers.
So, yes, you heard it absolutely right. The man with the honorary title for life, Hall of Fame, Abhinav Gupta. I am Khyati Mehta, host of this awesome podcast, and will hear the stories and insights from the man himself. There, Abhinav mentioning a bit about his company and contributions. So, today we sit down with him and take away all the tips and tricks to be focused and how to excel in our career. So, Abhinav, you initially started your career as a freelancer and then jumped into a company. So, what made you do this?
No, I actually was an employee for quite long. I have originally a mechanical background. Like I started with mechanical refrigeration and I spent 1 year in doing mechanical related jobs as well and eventually moved to IT.
Okay.
In 2004, I became a Java engineer or Java developer. And in 2008, I started my Salesforce journey. So from you can say 2004 to 2013, I was in a full-time normal job. And after 2013, I became a freelancer.
Okay. So, what made you do this? Like, you were in a mechanical engineer and then switched on to IT.
Okay, that flip is in another story. I was not very studious since my childhood days. Like you can say, sort of like people take pride in calling themselves backbenchers now, but that time it was a shameful thing to be, and people take pride in getting fail in certifications and anything. But I really failed in many classes and subjects, so that time it was really shameful. Now you can put on social media, but at that time you get a scolding and whatnot when you do that. So I was having that kind of educational background. So my dad and parents were not like very hopeful that I will do anything good with studies. So they put me in polytechnic. I did a diploma in mechanical refrigeration and did some. You can say it's a mechanic kind of job. I was repairing air conditioners for 1 year,
Yeah.
and then I somehow got into IT because it's a long story. I will not get much into that detail, but from there I joined a
Mm.
course called A level, B level, which is no more active. It's equivalent to MCA. So then I did my double masters. I'm MCA and MSc both in computers, and gradually, along with job, this thing was going on. So I ended up IT out of interest. I'm a kind of person I can't do anything which doesn't interest me.
Mhm.
So IT was a good pick that way. It really clicked at one point of time, and then I thought like it's better than what I'm doing right now.
So, you eventually started your own company. So, like, how did you start it? What made you start it?
Right. So again, as we're in time of social media, and I'm not saying that my company solves every meme or quote which is shared about employers and things, but
Mhm.
I shared a lot of those frustrations. 2004 to 13 is nearly a decade. I worked as an employee before starting my company. So there are some common odd practices in Indian IT industry, like the way employees are treated, the way salaries are given, appraisals are given, the way they are billed into multiple projects at the same time as a
Mhm.
full-time resource and more than full-time resource, and client is not aware of those things at times. The way your resumes are faked in IT industry, like fresher becomes a 2 year, 4 year experience guy, 2 year, 4 years becomes an architect all of a sudden. And then the client is frustrated and the employee who's facing the client, he's frustrated. So been through this a lot in my span. And I thought that first of all, I needed a break from all of that. So I left the job. I thought for 1 year, 2013 to 2014, what I really wanted to do. So I enjoyed freelancing.
Mm.
That was good. And the interesting thing was people think freelancing is cool, but sometimes they leave job based on one client. So
Yeah.
just want to put a word of caution for them that it's easy. Like sometimes every client appears to be very promising and they will go lifelong. It seems like a marriage with a good money coming in, but it's not like that. It can change any day. So if you're planning to freelance, so you should have your personal brand in place
Mm.
rather than banking on just one client for funds flow. Or you should know really how freelance portals work, how you can bid, win the jobs, because there is a tough competition now. There are many people freelancing,
Yes.
and Salesforce is no more like a very niche skill. Like if you put Salesforce in your resume in freelancing portals, and you will just get red carpet entry to any job. It doesn't happen anymore. It happens in 2013 easily because there were very limited people at that time. So I was lucky in that way. It was easy to get jobs, but fortunately, in my case, community helped me a lot. When I left job, I put a message on Facebook. Many people contacted me that why don't you work with us? And that time I was not looking for jobs, so I started with freelancing.
Okay. So, do you see any change in the work process these days? Like the days where you were working, you felt that you are being left out or being pushed for the work. So, do you feel any change now?
Yeah, I think if I talk from my company's perspective, like not in Gurgaon, in Jaipur, we were among the first in 2014 who bought 5 days a week. There are many companies who operate one Saturday on, one Saturday off,
Mm.
and many companies has all Saturdays working, IT companies. So I wanted to break that thing, at least in Jaipur, my hometown, that yeah, 5 days is sufficient if somebody is doing good work, and 2 days is sometimes even less to recover out of those 5 days of stress and workload. So that's, I think 5 days is getting normal, and even I think people are talking about 4 days now, 3 days now.
Uh,
So that's I think the direction we are moving. So employee dynamics and everything is changed quite a lot these days.
mm.
It's fortunately not like before, where employer is just like I will say like a factory kind of employer where they treated people like labor. So that I see is very less evident in the business community I work with, talk with people, and the employees from other company. Employers are changing, not just for MNCs and big companies, but for the smaller size companies as well.
So, as you mentioned about a company, did you always wanted to open up a company on your own, or it's just like it's something that just came up?
My core reason to open company is to uh, I mean, it sounds strange, like we are typically in an era in India where everything is overly patriotic. But I feel bad at times when Indian IT companies do such kind of shady things.
Mm.
And the code quality, if you say, it's not mostly good because of these hacks and cracks these employers applied to get business and get business done in any way. So main thing, if you see in my company's logo is Salesforce quality and integrity. So we are definitely Salesforce focused as of now, and we do want to do quality work, not like have a 1,000, 5,000 people company who are delivering mediocre work. And then there should be integrity in the way you treat your employees and in the way you treat your clients. So money will definitely come as a side effect of all of this.
So, what were the hurdles when you wanted to start the company, and how did you overcome it?
Okay. The biggest hurdle I would say was finding the right set of people, like who you will call as the founding members or the first 5 or 10 employees.
Mm.
So I was fortunate to find a few very good one, and I learned a lot of lessons in my initial few years, and still I'm learning. I'm basically a technical person who happens to be a CEO now. So, like typically, as it happens with the technical person, we do A plus B is equal to C, write code and get free. So,
Mm.
running a company is much more beyond that. You have to deal with a lot of people, and every person has a different perspective and different sort of take on everything and anything which you do.
Mhm.
So, that maturity comes into play at its own pace. So, as I said, I'm learning, still learning, like what's the correct way to do things. But yeah, I think the people is the biggest thing in even a product company and even in services company. You should have right people. to
Yeah.
start with.
So we usually say that learning never stops. So the golden
Correct.
question, yeah, the golden question for everyone who's listening out and who wants to, open up their own companies or startups. So Abhinav, do you want to provide any advices who want to start their own company or startups?
See, I would say there are two forms in which you can go for a startup. Either you have a product idea or you want to do consulting services. So services again is easy. I'm a services company. I would say it's easy. You have one client, you have one or two people. You can gradually scale up from there. Only challenge is after you cross a certain number, then you realize it's tough to find clients and you have to do that hard work. But still, in services, the money is predictable. You do X hours of work and you know that at the month the invoice will be cleared and you will get paid. But in products, you have to have a longer vision and you really have to believe that, yeah, that vision is not something you are unsure about. You have to be really confident on that thing. So it depends on what you're trying to do. But I would also say job is not bad. Entrepreneurship is quite glossy these days. Everybody wants to be that. But if you are with the right employer, if you get right, let's say,
Right.
bonuses, rewards in place. So entrepreneurship is not for everyone also. It's a really a tough roller coaster ride. Like I lose many nights of sleep ad hocly, like the day is going really well. And by the end of the day, sometimes something ad hoc happens, which is quite stressful. So it depends. You have to evaluate yourself as a person. Like, are you ready for that kind of stress?
Mm.
And one other thing is money wise, I think jobs are not that underpaying these days. So, do you really want to do business for some extra money? Definitely, financially, it will be rewarding if you are successful. But are you really ready to sacrifice few initial years of your life? And I don't know, it depends on luck as well. Like some guys are lucky within a year, some guys take time,
Mm.
and many startups fail as well for many reasons. They are beyond your control.
Yeah. I'm sure all the points are noted. So, what is that you see in the upcoming generations that is setting the pace, and how will it mobilize the ecosystem?
Uh, I would say, like I told you, my daughter shares name with you, Kathy. Her name is Kathy also. So she's 12 years old, and the way she is using tools like Canva for designs,
Mm.
even Microsoft Word, and other mobile apps like Instagram and things. So I feel nervous in front of her at times, like how she's able to do those things. I'm an IT person. I'm supposed to be smart in all those things, but
Children are
she
smarter these
beats me.
days. Yeah. I was saying that children are very smart these days.
Correct, correct. So I'm recalling one thing as you asked me in this question. Like a long back, I think Salesforce itself marketed that there was a very small kid, maybe toddler. So he was given a magazine to read, and he was trying to tap on pictures in the magazine.
Mm.
So they are expecting touch to be there, and touch should reflect on the images and text which they are trying to consume from the magazine. So this is the kind of generation which is evolving, and
Mm.
definitely the future is very interesting because they are learning coding at a very early age,
Yeah.
and the kind of hands-on access they have to devices and things. So it's I think going to be wonderful for India for sure.
Yeah, that is true. So usually, in this race, we forget that we are living a life. So, what is your suggestion to the upcoming folks on how to learn and grow exponentially, maintaining their like well-being?
Yeah, so one thing which I try to follow personally, and don't remember the quote on top of my head, but it's something like if you have, let's say, some 8 hours to do a job, so maybe spend first 2 or 3 hours to sharpen your axe. Your job is like a woodcutter, and you have an axe. Axe is your skill. So if your axe is really sharp, you can cut the wood really fast. Otherwise, you have to put a lot of effort, lot of blows to bring down or cut down trees or wood, whatever you are doing. So same applies here. Everybody has a slow time in job, and life. So spend a little bit of that time in whatever skills are required in your current project. The reason I'm saying is it's from self experience that if you know something really well, like if you're good at it, you take less time to do the things. So let's say you have given a day full of tasks, and if you can do that really fast, and again quality is good, so sense of achievement, sense of pride in delivering that work, and sense of appreciation from your managers, leads, and architects, it's really a very good feeling, and you feel proud about yourself, and you feel accomplished during the day, that okay, I didn't wasted the time, I did a good job, and you get a good sleep.
Yeah.
So work life balance eventually comes with, if with the right skills,
Hmm.
if you are sharpening the axe at the right time with the right skills.
That's such a wonderful suggestions. I'm going to implement it. So, apart from this, as mentioned, you have also received the title of Hall of Fame. Congratulations on that. So, how
Mhm.
does it feel? You have been 8x MVP. So, how does it feel? Does it come with any responsibilities, or you feel honored, or what do you feel?
Yeah, definitely, it's an honor, and again, it's a strange story.
We
When
would love to hear
Salesforce
that story.
started. Yeah, love to share that also. The strange part is, I was again an IT guy. An IT guy MVP means minimal viable product. So the most valuable professional I came to know when I became an MVP myself. So it's I think 2010 or 11. At that time, Salesforce had Kavinder and Dana Lee driving the community initiatives. So, and I was just doing my routine blogging. I used to blog a lot and contributed in open source a lot. I was not into meetup groups and all other forms of advocacy and things with Salesforce. So suddenly I got a mail from Salesforce that your efforts are recognized and you're given a title of MVP. So I thought I'm objectified. How can be a minimal viable product? So then I Googled and I learned that, okay, there is another MVP which is most valuable professional. And I think I became that now. So that was interesting. And then I realized, okay, what MVP is. Salesforce takes really good care of MVPs. And definitely, as you said, that this is a big responsibility also. People watch out how you act, how you do things. And the big downside, I think mostly the downside is on the job and the projects, because when you are deployed anywhere as a job, not job, as an employee or as an business owner, the expectation is if you are MVP, you know everything, you know much beyond than what your peers know. But MVP is also for contribution to community and advocacy about the platform. So it's not purely skill, it is definitely skill, but there are many other layers on top of it. So definitely there is a huge pressure when you are an MVP that okay, yeah, and your company will also sell you that this guy is an MVP. We have an MVP, so it becomes a pain as well at times to keep that the pressure.
But that's a good honor with you for your life, right?
Correct, yeah, definitely, that's for sure.
Yeah. So that's our show. Now, before we go, last question to you, Abhinav. Describe Salesforce community in one word.
Mm, I
The
would say
cameras for
helpful.
the hour.
Yeah, first word is helpful. I learned a lot and got a lot of help from peers even I don't know and never met before. So it's definitely helpful. Helping, helpful.
Perfect. Again, thanks to Abhinav for the great tips and information. I thank you all for listening. See you all at the next podcast.